everyone, thank you for joining me here on this episode 12 of Vegan Police TV. In this episode I'm going to have a bit of a discussion about the stages of veganism. Now I'm talking about the stages of veganism, not the levels as in the Simpsons levels of, you know, the level 5 vegan who doesn't eat anything, who won't eat anything that doesn't cast a shadow, and a bit of a discussion about some of the falling downs with the animal activist groups in Australia, and I think some ways that I believe that they should be improving. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Now, one thing is that something that I've noticed, okay, so I've been vegan for 23 years now. 23 years, yeah. And over that time is that something that I've noticed, and even noticed within myself as well, is that there's stages that people go through on their, their vegan journey, so to speak. So just like there's the 5 stages of guilt, I think there's about 3 or 4 stages of veganism. Now, when someone first goes vegan, they normally go into the evangelical stage. That's where they want to evangelize everyone to become vegan. They want to, go. They just can't talk about enough to people. They just want to evangelize everyone. Say, yep, go vegan, blah 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 blah. So from there, sort of depending on what peer groups, and this is the thing too, is that the progression through the stages also depends a lot on the individual themselves, so their personality, their makeup, their level of stubbornness, as well as their peer group too. So it just depends on, some people may stick in one stage for 12 months, they may stick in it for 2 years, they may be in it for 5 years, they may have just been stuck in that one, or stayed in that particular stage without moving to another one. So, this is the thing, this isn't all scientific, because there haven't been any studies done. It's not, it's not backed up by research, it's not backed up by peer group findings and blah 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 that all the alleged skeptics want, which, and this is the other thing I found too, is that the skeptical vegans just worship science. So they're not really skeptical about anything, they just worship science. So and you'll see them throw, it's easy to find someone like that because they throw terms out like pseudoscience and things like that out all the time. So anyway, that's a different discussion altogether. Stages of veganism. First stage, evangelical. Second stage, depending on your peer group as well, and what experiences you've had in your evangelical stage, you could become apathetic towards it. So you'll stay vegan as well. You just sort of say, nah, F it. The world's not going to go vegan. I'm just going to stay vegan. I'm just going to withdraw into my little shell and just do my own thing. So you could go from that, or if you've had a lot of negative experiences in your evangelical stage, then you become misanthropic. That's where you hate everybody. You hate the world. You hate the human race. You just, you really hate people in general, because they're a bunch of whatevers. They're, all they want to do is consume animals. They don't care about the feelings. So you move from the evangelical stage to the misanthropic stage, and that seems to be where a lot of the vegans are. So they've moved from that to evangelical to the to the misanthropic stage. Now, sometimes, I've seen people that have gone from evangelical to apathetic to misanthropic. The majority of the people, though, go from evangelical to misanthropic to the apathetic one, because when they be in the misanthropic stage, then they want to do stuff. So they're in a lot of groups and things like that. Then they suffer burnout because they're just spending so much time in these groups, and these groups aren't supporting them in the way that these groups should. So then they burn out. When they burn out, then they become apathetic. Now, obviously, as I said, it depends on, and the apathetic stage is where, they don't care about this. They don't care that the world's never going to, go vegan. They're just, sometimes they stay vegan themselves. Others, depending on what their core belief was for going vegan in the first place, sometimes when they hit the apathetic stage, is that they actually revert back to consuming animal products, because they believe that they're faced with this overwhelming wall of resistance where there's no way known that they can break it through, because they're looking at, oh my god, we've got to convert the world to veganism. So from there, obviously, as I said, depending on your peer group and how you are and everything like that, is that sometimes people move from there then they go and become a bit more pragmatic in their with what they do and how they deliver the message and their activism, so to speak. So for me, I'm at the more of the pragmatic stages. That yes, am I militant? No, actually no. I'd say I'm sort of on a late term pragmatism stage, because for me it is about veganism. It is about equal consideration for other animals. I'm not taking the quote unquote pragmatic view by a position such as those who like Tobias, the misnomered vegan strategist, and others who believe that, hey, any step is a good step. No, I don't subscribe to that, because to me a rights violation is still a rights violation. There's no sugarcoating it and making it warm and fuzzy and everything like that. I'm just trying to figure out whether there's going to be a fire engine coming out of here or not, because I'm at the fire station at Roma Street. So no, there's not. Okay. So yeah, there's that. So from that aspect, so there's that. So you get to a level of pragmatism where you're starting to develop a more pragmatic approach, where you understand that the hard line in your face approach isn't working. So you're trying to develop ways that you can attract people to veganism, rather than forcing veganism onto people. Is that you attract them to veganism. Now, to give you an example, I mean, some of the things that I did when I went vegan, because it was, as I said, 20 something years ago now. Prior to going vegan, I was a hunter, and I used to go rabbit shooting and pig shooting a lot. And for me, at that period of time, when I went through my evangelical stage, and then I went through my misanthropic stage. So when I was going through my evangelical stage, it was all cities and wanting to talk to everyone that I met, go vegan, from there on, and everything like that. Then when I went into my misanthropic stage, I still stayed licensed, and because I enjoyed target shooting as a sport, because all that sort of stuff is fun. So from there, I still had all the gear and all the kit, and knew where all the hunting spots were. Some of the things that I did, I would not recommend to anyone. I used to go to hunting spots, and in my four-wheel drive I had an old Land Cruiser 110, or we used to go out with some other mates who had four-wheel drives as well, and that was the thing. I would borrow someone's car and just go out shooting for the weekend. And my shooting would be, I'd go out there with them. I'd go find, crank the radio up, going through the spots where they like to shoot kangaroos at night time and daytime. So sort of dusk and dawn, when kangaroos are more likely to go to a water source to have a drink. So they'd sort of sit around there and hide and wait to shoot the kangaroos from there. So I'd sit around those spots, crank the radio up immensely, scare the kangaroos away. I used to do it at night time, drive through all the bush, lights on, making so much noise that it would scare the kangaroos away, and they'd be more wary about what was going on. I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised that with the way that I was, I'm surprised I wasn't shot. I was shot at a couple of times. But yeah, it's. I mean, by no circumstances would I recommend anyone do that these days. Going into hunting grounds, with people. And, this is way back in the day where laws were a lot more relaxed, and attitudes were different. There is no way known I would recommend people do that these days. Because A, it's not effective. B, yeah, it may give you a chance to have a rant and to have a vent at someone that you think is the enemy. They're not. Yes, there are some people that are just plain bloodthirsty, that they just want to go out and kill things. For those ones, there's probably no hope of getting them to see the error of their ways, or things that they should do differently. For others, that approach doesn't work. It was fine for me, because that's what I wanted to do. That's what I thought was effective. Here I am, I'm sharing my thoughts. I'm protecting the animals and all that sort of stuff. Nowadays, no. Don't recommend that to anyone. You're likely to get yourself killed, hurt, or otherwise. And if you're in the hospital or in prison, then how effective or what sort of impact can you have for the animals there anyway? So from there, sort of moved to my apathetic stage, where it was sort of we're never going to save the animals, so just sort of hid away from the world and thought, yep, no, there's no chance of anything changing for the animals. So then I just sort of, as I said, became apathetic and just wanted to give up. Period of time, things change, life changes, life takes you in different directions, and then I started becoming a bit more active again, because at that point in time I'd moved to Queensland and sought a local vegan group, and for some reason I'd always developed, whether it came from my transition to veganism and sort of my reasons for going vegan and my reasons for having the rights-based view, which I'll share my vegan journey in a later clip. So then I was sort of all of the what was termed at that time, the abolitionist view, because before someone else corrupted it and sort of has made it so negative. So that's the way that I was. So from there, then I've sort of, as I've become more aware of things and learnt more things, then I've developed more of a pragmatic approach that it is possible to get someone to go vegan, but don't look at the big picture. Don't try and convert the world. I really don't care if the world goes vegan or not. I'm not worried about that. I'm not interested in that. I've just got a small task, and that is getting the person that I'm talking to at the particular time to understand my reasons for going vegan, why I choose to go vegan, and how that they can go vegan as well. So for me, that's my pragmatic approach. That's why I do not believe that leafleting is an effective form of activism. There's, for it to be classed as effective, then you have to be able to measure it. So if it's measurable, then yeah, you can judge whether it's been effective or not. You've given out 2,000 leaflets. How many people went vegan? How many people contacted you? How many people even wanted a further discussion about it? You can't measure that. So is that a level of effectiveness? Who knows? So yeah, that's the thing, is that stages of veganism. At the different stages, my recommendation to people, when you're in your first stage of veganism, so you're going down the evangelical path, my thoughts are, learn everything that you can, because you've got the open mind, you're really passionate about it. Learn everything that you can. Don't go and try and evangelize everyone. Stick with your little crowd, stick with your tribe, so to speak, stick with your peer group. Have a chat to them, find out, while you're having discussions with them, use that while you're the most receptive to change and to learning. Use that as the starting point for your discussion and your honing of your vegan skills and your activism skills and everything like that. Go and learn about the different theories. Go and read up on Tom Reagan. Go and read up on and things like that. Go and learn psychology of humans, of speech, and why people do things the way that they do. Go and learn that we bring about change when we're moving towards pleasure or away from pain. Now, go and create a message that does one of the two or does both. So, here's the pain for staying vegan, while here's the pleasure for going vegan. So, here's the pain for staying as, consuming animal products, and here's the pleasure you can reach by going vegan. So, frame it that way. When you get into your misanthropic stage, I would hide away from the world. Just stick there. Find good mentors, find good people that will help you through that stage and encourage you to get out and to find your true self and your voice. When you're going through the apathetic stage, rely on your peer groups then. Rely on, depending on them, because they could be going through the same phase as well, and it's all just that big pit of negativity. So find quality mentors. Find someone that can help you through transition through that too. Become more of the through the pragmatic stage, and then once you're there, you've trained yourself, you've trained yourself, you've educated yourself, you've gone through the transition where you know what's effective in you, you know what you can do, you know what works to a certain extent, what doesn't work, and by saying something works, I mean saying something that people are receptive to, not saying that, hey, yes, if we bombard people with earthlings, then hey, we're going to get everyone to go vegan. Well, to some it does work, to some it doesn't. So go through that. Now, this is the other thing too, is that this is where the failings are on all these, vegan groups that are popping up all over the place, because they're not teaching people about veganism. They do a protest. They don't have a quality debrief. They don't encourage people to say, okay, how can we improve in it? They don't have discussions with that, because there's the leaders of this group. This is the way we're going to do it. This is what we're going to do. Blah, 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 blah. It's our way. Yeah, we've done this before. We've been doing this for 20 years. Rah, rah, we know what we're doing. Well, times change. And it's the thing is that, this is where the falling downs are. There's no effective mentoring going on. There may be overseas and all that sort of stuff. The groups that I know in Australia, there isn't. There's no just get-togethers where you discuss something, or where you get to share, wins and losses that you've had over the week. There's nothing about that. It's, let's go out and have a dinner. Let's go and watch a particular movie. We'll go and protest this organisation. Well, these people need to be developed. They need to be nurtured. They need to be, pruned, or allowed to grow into becoming, an effective activist. And then they need to be shown ways on how to manage the stress, how to manage the ways of going out to dinner with people, with your family, family who you love dearly, and see them sitting all around the table consuming animal products, and in your mind that here they are, they're you have the view that they're disrespecting you because they're eating animal products, and whether it's the family mocking and all that, of having a go at you while you're not. So and this is the thing, is that none of these groups do this. This is why things need to change, why veganism, for it to become the social justice movement that everyone says it is, and to become a movement, we need to start acting like one. We need to start behaving like one. So yes, this there's just so much that I have found that is challenging within these organisations. But that's the thing, is that before you turn around and say, why don't you approach these groups and offer your help? Well, hey, I've approached these groups a number of times, and said, I'll help you with this. I don't want my name attached to it. Blah 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 blah. No, don't want a bar of it, because that's the way they've done it. That's the way they've done things. The Animal Liberation franchise in Australia, I've challenged them contact them a number of times and said, you need to sit down and talk to people and explain to people that your view isn't the liberation of other animals. Your view is the better treatment of other animals. Oh no, it's not, because this is that. Well, you're founded on Peter Singer. How much do you know about what Peter Singer's written? How much do you know about his books? He's not the father of the animal rights movement, because he doesn't have a rights-based position. They don't want it. They're not interested in that. And then it comes on to the whole, welfare versus abolition discussion. Well, it's not, because welfare and abolition, they're two terms that don't mean what people say that they do. And I've written about that in the Vegan Police blog, and I'll rant about that in a different episode in a coming episode. So anyway, that's it. Before I start, what are we now, 18 minutes, before I start going on too long, this is the thing, is that these groups need to change. Yes, I understand they're funded, they're voluntary groups and don't have a lot of funding and everything like that. It doesn't take much to be a mentor to someone. It doesn't take much to educate yourself. It doesn't take much to learn within yourself, hey, yes, I don't want to do protest. What I want to do is, I just want to be a new member mentor. Do that. Don't worry about anything else. I mean, just stop doing protests for 12 months or 2 years. All you should become focused on is just cultivating the current members and getting them more passionate about it, getting them more excited about what you're doing. Come back out on the other side in 2 years' time, you may have an effective organisation that can withstand the challenges and can withstand the stresses of being vegan in a non-vegan world. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up now. Thumbs up, thumbs down, like, comments, whatever. You will find more of a discussion on this. What are we, episode 12, veganpolice.tv/episode 12. My name's Cameron Blewett. Thanks for watching, and look forward to having you looking at me in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.